They say, buy a house. It's the dream. Work hard, save up, get a mortgage, and one day you'll finally own it. But let me tell you about the house myth, the dream they sold you to keep you working. You don't own that house. The bank does. Miss a few payments, and you'll see who really holds the keys. They call it an investment, but it drains you. Interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs. The roof leaks, the market dips, the bills keep coming. You don't buy freedom, you buy a 30-year leash. They say homeownership builds wealth, but what it really builds is debt, dependence, and distraction. You keep working, not to live, but to pay for where you sleep. And when you finally pay it off, property tax keeps you paying, forever. So ask yourself, is this really homeownership or just long-term debt with curtains? Bro, this is Brotoshi Nakamoto. Real talk about money, markets, and mindset. No fluff, no guru talk. Just the truths and traps they never told you in school. If you're tired of playing the systems game, it's time to learn how it really works. Part 1. The Origin of the Dream. Let's rewind to where this all began. After World War II, the American dream became the blueprint of the middle class worldwide. Governments promoted home ownership as the ultimate symbol of success, not just to give people stability, but to anchor them to the system. When you owe 30 years of payments, you're less likely to quit your job, question authority, or take risks. A mortgage doesn't just tie you to a house, it ties you to the economy. The dream wasn't created to free you, it was created to make you predictable. Let's break down the math. You buy a $300,000 house, you put $60,000 down, and borrow $240,000 for 30 years at 6% interest. By the end of it, you'll have paid over $415,000. That's $175,000 in interest, gone. Money that didn't improve your life, it just made the bank richer. Add property tax, maintenance, insurance, and repairs, and your dream home quickly turns into a lifelong subscription fee. You didn't buy a $300,000 house. You bought $415,000 worth of payments. That's the silent genius of the system. It sells you comfort, then bills you for it every month for the rest of your life. Part 2. The Psychological Trap. The house feels safe. It feels like progress. You tell yourself you're building equity, but what you're really building is dependency. Because now, every choice you make, career, risk, travel, has to pass through one question. Can I still pay the mortgage? That's not freedom. That's financial captivity disguised as success. They call it responsibility, but what it really is compliance. And that's how most people spend their best years, working not for freedom, but for the illusion of stability. Now here's the twist. Most people call their house an asset, but an asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes it out. Until that home earns you cash flow, it's not an asset, it's an expense. It only becomes an asset for the bank because your monthly payments are their income. People brag, I just bought my first house. The bank celebrates too, because they just bought your next 30 years. This isn't anti-home ownership, it's anti-blind belief. Part 3. The Real Dream. If you buy a home for the right reasons, to live in peace, raise a family, build stability, that's fine. But if you buy one thinking it'll make you rich, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The housing market doesn't always go up. Maintenance never stops. And property taxes make sure you never truly own anything. Even after you've paid it all off, you'll still be paying rent to the government. Forever. Here's what the wealthy do differently. They let cash flow pay for comfort. They invest first in assets that produce income. Businesses, stocks, crypto, rentals, digital products. Then, when those assets can cover the bills, that's when they buy the dream home. They don't trade freedom for comfort. They use freedom to afford comfort. So instead of asking, how do I afford this house? Ask, how can I build something that pays for it? Because owning a home doesn't automatically mean owning your life. Freedom isn't measured in square footage, it's measured in time, choice, and control. The system sold you the idea that a house equals success. But the truth? Success isn't about what you own. It's about how long you can live without owing. So before you sign that 30-year deal, ask yourself, are you buying a dream or a debt disguised as one? If this hit you, don't forget to like, comment, and share this with someone thinking of buying a house because it's the dream. The dream was sold to keep you paying. But the truth? You can build wealth without the chains of a mortgage. I'm Brotoshi Nakamoto, and this was The House Myth. See you in the next one.